Questions and answers for a world in crisis. We are witness today to a world in chaos, the earth being ravaged and despoiled by greed, wars, and violent ideologies seeking to overpower, control, and enslave through extreme brutality our species. Mankind is at an evolutionary crossroads and is seeking answers to the most pressing questions of our age. Will humanity survive? Will Earth perish in some nuclear holocaust? Is there still hope for peace and collective harmony? This series addresses questions and gives answers from the writings of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother in this time of planetary crisis, responding especially to the difficulties now facing our youth. We invite your questions on all topics. Links for further study are supplied. You may write to us at narada12@gmail.com. That's NARADA number 12@gmail.com. Today we address the problem of fear. On fear and how to conquer it. Some answers from Mother to questions from children and adults. Mother writes, "My protection is always with you, and nothing bad can happen. But you must take the decision to shake off the fear, and then my force can work fully." 27 October 1937. Do not torment yourself. Do not worry. Above all, try to banish all fear. Fear is a dangerous thing which can give importance to something which had none at all. The mere fear of seeing certain symptoms renew themselves is enough to bring about this repetition. 24th July 1945. All fear must be overcome and replaced by a total confidence in the divine grace. 6 June 1955. Nothing can harm you if you do not fear. So fear not. Be quiet and calm. All will be all right. With love and blessings. 15th October 1966. There is nothing to fear. All is the Lord. There is nothing else than the Lord. The Lord alone exists. And all that tries to frighten us is only a silly and meaningless disguise of the Lord. Cheer up. The way is open before you. Shake off this obsession of illness and bring down the divine calm. You must not be afraid. Have full trust in the divine, who is love, light, and life. 8th March, 1972. Fear is hidden consent. When you are afraid of something, it means that you admit its possibility and thus strengthen its hand. It can be said that it is a subconscious consent. Fear can be overcome in many ways. The ways of courage, faith, knowledge are some of them. Fear is slavery. Work is liberty. Courage is victory. Mother was asked, "Why does one feel afraid?" And she replies, "I suppose it is because one is egoistic." There are three reasons. First, an excessive concern about one's security. Next, what one does not know always gives an uneasy feeling, which is translated in the consciousness by fear. And above all, one doesn't have the habit of a spontaneous trust in the divine. If you look into things sufficiently deeply, this is the true reason. There are people who do not even know that that exists. But one could tell them, in other words, you have no faith in your destiny, or you know nothing about grace, anything whatever. You may put it as you like. But the root of the matter is a lack of trust. If one always had the feeling that it is the best that happens in all circumstances, one would not be afraid. The Mother, The Great Adventure, A Diary for All Times, page 115. What can he fear who belongs to the divine? Can he not walk, his soul expanding and his brow illumined, upon the path the divine traces for him, whatever it may be, even if it is altogether incomprehensible to his limited reason? 14th October, 1954. The first thing from which you must cure yourself once forever is fear. It is more dangerous than the worst disease. With love and blessings, Mother. 9 October, 1967. You can be entirely free from fear only when you have driven out of you all violence. Get rid of all violence, and you will no longer have any fear. The fear of death and the 4 methods of conquering it. Generally speaking, perhaps the greatest obstacle in the way of man's progress is fear. A fear that is many-sided, multiform, self-contradictory, illogical, unreasoning, and often unreasonable. Of all fears, the most subtle and the most tenacious is the fear of death. It is deeply rooted in the subconscious, and it is not easy to dislodge. It is obviously made up of several interwoven elements: the spirit of conservatism and the concern for self-preservation, so as to ensure the continuity of consciousness, the recoil before the unknown, the uneasiness caused by the unexpected and the unforeseeable, and perhaps behind all that, hidden in the depths of the cells, the instinct that death is not inevitable, and that if certain conditions are fulfilled, it can be conquered. Although, as a matter of fact, fear in itself is one of the greatest obstacles to that conquest. For one cannot conquer what one fears. And one who fears death has already been conquered by it. How can one overcome this fear? Several methods can be used for this purpose. But first of all, a few fundamental notions are needed to help us in our endeavor. The first and most important point is to know that life is one and immortal. The forms are countless, fleeting and brittle. This knowledge must be securely and permanently established in the mind, and one must identify one's consciousness, as far as possible, with the eternal life that is independent of every form, but which manifests in all forms. This gives the indispensable psychological basis with which to confront the problem, for the problem remains. Even if the inner being is enlightened enough to be above all fear, the fear still remains hidden in the cells of the body, obscure, spontaneous, beyond the reach of reason, usually almost unconscious. It is in these obscure depths that one must find it out, seize hold of it, and cast upon it the light of knowledge and certitude. The Mother on Education. Get rid of all fear. Mother. Once you enter the path of yoga, you must get rid of all fears. The fears of your mind, the fears of your vital, the fears of your body, which are lodged in its very cells. One of the uses of the blows and knocks you receive on the path of yoga is to rid you of all fear. The causes of your fears leap on you again and again until you can stand before them free and indifferent, untouched and pure. One has a fear of the sea, another the fear of fire. The latter will find, it may be, that he has to face conflagration after conflagration, till he is so trained that not a cell of his body quivers. That of which you have horror comes repeatedly till the horror is gone. One who seeks the transformation and is a follower of the path must become through and through fearless, not to be touched or shaken by anything whatever in any part of his nature. The Mother, The Great Adventure, A Diary for All Times, page 113. Again, Mother says, I was saying just now, all is contagious, everything. You are looking at the effect of an accident. You absorb a certain vibration. And if you are oversensitive and over and above that, you have fear or disgust, which is the same thing. Disgust is only a moral expression of physical fear. The accident can be translated physically in your body. Naturally, you will be told that those who have such reactions are in a state of nervous imbalance. It is not quite true. They are persons with an ultra supersensitive vital. That is all. And it is not always a proof of inferiority. On the contrary, for as you progress spiritually, a certain hypersensitivity of the nerves occurs. And if your self-control does not increase along with your sensibility, all kinds of untoward things may happen to you. We close with these words from Sri Aurobindo. To walk through life armored against all fear, peril, and disaster, only two things are needed, two that go always together: the grace of the Divine Mother, and on your side, an inner state made up of faith, sincerity, and surrender. Let your faith be pure, candid, and perfect. The more complete your faith, sincerity, and surrender, the more will grace and protection be with you. And when the grace and protection of the Divine Mother are with you, what is there that can touch you? Or whom need you fear? A little of it even will carry you through all difficulties, obstacles, and dangers. Surrounded by its full presence, you can go securely on your way because it is hers, careless of all menace, unaffected by any hostility, however powerful, whether from this world or from worlds invisible. It can turn difficulties into opportunities, failure into success, and weakness into unfaltering strength. For the grace of the Divine Mother is the sanction of the Supreme, and now or tomorrow its effect is sure, a thing decreed, inevitable and irresistible. Sri Aurobindo, from the little book, The Mother. For further study, please visit our website, motherandSriAurobindo.in.